Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a small update on our GR Yaris. We've realized that since we've had the car, we haven't really done like a long-term ownership update on the car. So what I'm going to do today is run through the modifications we have done on the car since we've had it, and then I'll go out for a short drive and explain how they're all working and how we feel about them. So the car, as you can see, is very dirty. It's because I've just been on a driving trip to Wales for the weekend. It was very enjoyable. The car performed extremely well. The car is wrapped in matte black. As you can see, it has some of the Venturi decals on the back. In terms of the engine, we have, of course, the Venturi intake, which sounds amazing and adds a very substantial amount of power for an intake. We have the Development JB4 piggyback ECU on the car, which is from Berger Motorsport in the USA. So we're just helping them test and develop that in the UK at the moment, and it will be out very shortly. The car also has Development MSS height adjustable spring kit. If you're familiar with the channel, you know we love that product on all our BMWs, and it is just as good on this one. Exhaust wise, we have the MG section 1, which replaces the OPF with a 200 cell catalytic converter, and on the rear we have the Olitsky switchable valve exhaust. So that's enough of what the car has. Let's jump in and see what everything is like. Follow the channel, you will recognize this road. It's one of our favorites for really testing out the compliance of suspension. And yeah, with the MSS suspension, it is just as compliant as stock. The Yaris has got very good stock suspension, and the whole point with the MSS was to try and lower the car for aesthetics and not lose any of the excellent handling capabilities it has. And if you watch back to the video I made with the GP3, that was a lot bumpier on this section of the road. So we've done around 3,000 miles in this car now, and it does require now a service. And I think that's enough time to really bed in with the car. There was a lot of hype around this car when it first came out, and it's easy to get caught up in that. But I think after owning it for this amount of time and actually doing some driving in it, I took it to Wales a couple of weekends ago, did around 600 or 700 miles, really enjoyed myself on those valley roads. The car was just epic. It really does live up to the hype, and it deserves the credit that it gets. I've just been super impressed about everything with this car. The handling, the brakes are absolutely amazing. So I went on a drive, as I mentioned, to Wales, and I didn't really even need to use my brakes 100%. Some of my friends I was going with, they were really struggling with the brakes, but with the size of these, they're bigger than the super brakes. They're more than capable of handling anything you throw at them on the road. I haven't tracked this car yet because I'm not sure how I feel about tracking it. I don't think it's quite built for that, but for me, as a B-road blaster, it's absolutely amazing. It just inspires so much confidence. These narrow roads, you can really throw it around. So that is in normal mode, which is 60 front, 40 rear, and I can switch that to sport, which then sends most of the power to the rear wheels, which I find a lot of fun because you actually feel the car pushing you around the corner rather than pulling you through. And what I found very useful when I was in Wales was the 50-50 split, because it was raining for a lot of the time and I didn't really have to change my driving style. The car has so much mechanical grip, and the way the four-wheel drive system works with the two limited slip diffs is just unerring how much grip you have. So it's easy to get carried away, but it does inspire a lot of confidence. The other thing we've done to this car, as I mentioned, was fit a prototype JB4. So we're helping Terry Berger from Berger Motorsport test out and beta test the JB4 on this platform. We have used it on BMWs before where we've not been able to tune the ECU, which is the case for the Yaris at the moment, and they don't have the GR Yaris in America, so JB4 having to rely on people like us to do the beta testing for them. And I have to say, so far I've been impressed with it. It adds around 30 to 35 horsepower and about 40 to 50 foot-pound of torque, and with the Venturi and the MG Section 1 exhaust, which deletes the OPF, we're currently around 320 horsepower. We did actually do a very interesting race with the guys at Driven Media against a stock Cayman, and I'll put a link to that video so you can actually see the difference in acceleration. I was actually quite surprised myself. In terms of modifications for this car that I think we want to do, I'm actually really happy with the way it is, but I think it'd be a shame not to take this platform a little bit further. So we will look into doing a hybrid turbo and then adding the Cyvex standalone ECU. So Cyvex did actually borrow this car for around a month to help with their development, and I think they're actually very close to releasing that product. The other thing with the exhaust is you can hear it's quite loud now because the valve's open. If I push and put it into normal mode, it goes very quiet, and that's the Elitsky rear exhaust, which we have done a video on. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up to it. Integrates with a CAN bus, and you can program it to open and close kind of how you want it. So that's closed. If I put it into track, it will open up. The other thing I'd like to mention is I did go to Wales, and I drove all the way there and all the way back. It's a good couple of 100 miles, and the car is actually very comfortable. This area over here with the rear view mirror and the sat nav, it does restrict the view a little bit, but I'll be completely honest, when I'm driving and I'm in a zone, I kind of don't notice it anymore until somebody mentions it to me, and I'm like, yeah, it is blocking it, but you can kind of work around it quite well. The other thing I really like is the gear shift. It's so short, very snappy, and as a BMW fan, I'm really upset that BMW can't make like a gearbox like this. I can't say I've ever driven an M car that has a manual gearbox that is as nice shifting as this. So I hope you've enjoyed this little update on the GR Yaris. Really happy with the car and the mods and how everything is coming together. I've had the car for 9 months now, and I think that's enough time for us to form an opinion, and it's just the same as it was when I picked it up. The car is absolutely amazing, and I don't think that we'll ever sell this one because I'm not sure what would replace it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to join the conversation, please drop a comment below and we'll try our best to respond to you. If you want to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you want to watch what YouTube thinks you might like from our other content, you can do so over here.